back to the mediumship. So, for anybody just wondering, I take classes with Melissa Farr. If you look her up here on YouTube, her account name is Mediumship with Mel, like just MEL, like all together one. And so she's a really fantastic teacher, really fantastic medium. Because I've had a medium reading with her before. I was bawling the entire time. So, and she's one of those people who study her craft, and she just gets it really well. I don't study much, like I don't study outside of class, but she's one of those who definitely does. So she's got it down where it works for her. But anyway, so for me, like the zinger today, I think one of the biggest things to have learned was patience is a form of trust, because for a lot of us who are late stage ADHD, not late stage, but late diagnosed ADHD, late diagnosed autistics, late diagnosed anything that's actually valuable in a true diagnosis. When you are coming out of a burnout, or when you're coming out of a generation, those of us who are Gen X slash early elder millennials, we, our generations were all about productivity. Like there were no naps during the day. There was no sitting on your ass during the day. And for people who are trained that way, they neglect their bodies, they neglect their signals. So a lot of us are dealing with, in this perimenopause age, our lives burning down around us, because once the masks fall off, and perimenopause will rip the band-aid you didn't even know you were wearing, and while you're going ow, the rest of your world is falling. And if you think about it, because ADHD and autism, those things are hereditary. If you think back to our mothers, our grandmothers, they went through this. And I remember hearing stories of people saying, my mother became a raging bitch with menopause. And it's like, I see how now, because she had no tools, excuse me. She didn't understand her brain, and she didn't know what was going on with her, and she couldn't control her emotions anymore. And so when you know, and when you have knowledge, you get better at it. You give yourself grace, and you give yourself patience to become who you actually are. And it's a grieving process too when you finally get diagnosed. I went through all the stages of grief. When I say all the stages of grief, listen, all of them. What are they? I'm trying to remember. Okay. Oops. To the point where I created a word search book for late stage ADHD people. I'm going to tell you what the I know like 5 of the stages of grief. But like, hold on. Stages of grief. Did I put page numbers in here? I did. 80. I need to do some more of these. Okay, so I like literally wanted to educate people while they learned, or while they had fun, you know, because that's what we like. We like edutainment. So there's literally a section in here called Stages of Grief. And like I went through, when I say all of it, so it's what? Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. And I think they said now there's like 2 more stages. But like the denial, I well, it took me 20 years to finally get diagnosed, right? So the denial was partially medical, like they were denying me. But also, 20 years ago, we didn't know what the hell ADHD actually was. And now we do have a better idea of what it is thanks to social media. Like a lot of people are like, oh, people are just now getting diagnosed. It's like, honey, these are people who were undiagnosed. Like literally, I'm in Facebook groups of people who in their 80s and their 70s finally learning and getting diagnosed, and finally being able to take medication for those who are able to. And they're like, the grief is hard, because when I finally got Adderall and I finally could have a thought and execute it, I can just go, I need to take a shower, and then go take a shower, instead of going all day, I need to take a shower, 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 I need to take a shower. And then night goes, and then it's like, okay, let me go take a shower. because I'm thinking of, unmedicated, undiagnosed in perimenopause. I'm thinking, oh my God, I got to get up. I got to find clothes. I got to get wet. And I love taking a shower because it's a spiritual place. You get downloads. I never want to leave. But getting in there is hard because I think about getting out. And when you're getting out, you're wet and you're cold, and then you got to dry off, and then you got to put on lotion because I'm black and we believe in moisturizing. And so, yeah. So all the things, and then you got to get dressed again, and then you're still cold. So I'm thinking of, and a friend made me realize this. She says the ADHD brain thinks of all like 800 steps at one time, whereas the non-ADHD brain, or the highly masking brain, goes, I got to take a shower. And to them, it's just one. It's just one thing. Like, I would take a shower for work. That was easy because I'm not leaving my house dirty. So that was easy. But then when work was taken away, I was just like, I gotta take a shower, I gotta take a shower, I gotta take a shower, I gotta take a shower. Just telling myself over and over again. But it's like, after this, after that, after this, Anyway, so when I finally took the medicine, I cried. After I took the hardest sleep of life. Because, matter of fact, the wall, when you hit that wall of fatigue, that wall of fatigue was so hard, I couldn't fight it, that I had to go take a nap. And again, I'm Gen X, Gen Millennial, like right there in the cusp. So napping during the day was a no-no. But I took the hardest nap ever. And then I immediately got up and I Googled. I was like, I must not have ADHD, because people, when they take Adderall, they said that they'd be buzzing and blah, blah, blah. And people make Adderall into a party drug. I took Adderall, that's it, and it sent me to bed. And I was like, okay. So I looked it up and I was like, how come when I took Adderall, I went to sleep? And it said, because your brain finally got the message your body's been sending for the longest. And I was like, oh, that's what ADHD is. My body's screaming for rest. And my brain going, what's that noise? And then you take medicine and it's like, oh, I'm going to bed. So, matter of fact, I didn't get to push live until I took my medicine. Like, I just took my medicine 30 minutes ago. And finally I got up and went, okay, I'm going to go live. I've been in that bed for like 2 hours going, I'm going to go live, I'm going to go live, I'm going to go live, I'm going to go live. And then finally I was like, you know what? I got to take my blood pressure medicine. So I might as well take my ADHD medicine at the same time. And then people go, don't take that medicine at night because it'll keep you up. Baby, that shit don't keep me up. It makes me go to sleep. I drink an energy drink to go to bed. Like, no, it does not do that for me. Lucky you, I guess. Anyway, so that said, after I Googled it and I found out, yes, you do have ADHD, Virginia. I cried. And I was like, this is what normal feels like? Because also, for the first time ever, in the longest of times, probably ever, I heard my voice. I knew what my thoughts sounded like. Where I had been hearing a freaking happy hour lounge my entire life. Now, here's the problem. I'm also a medium. So it's like, how do I know? And that was one of the questions I brought up today. That's why I said sifting is my thing. Because one of the ways I've been coping in my mediumship classes is to make sure I take my Adderall so that I can quiet that noise and receive the other noise. I take immediate release. I don't do the extended, because extended makes it where I can't hear anything. So I hate extended. So I do the immediate release because it's out my blood system and it just doesn't have the same impact extended does. I think extended is like, hold down all the fort. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I can't even dream on extended. So I cried because I finally heard my voice and I went, this is what other people have been dealing with their whole life. This is why people can just get up and execute. This is why people say it just takes discipline. This is what this is. And I cried so hard for the girl who heard her whole life, you're not living up to your potential. She needed help to live up to her potential. As far as to fit into this society, I don't honestly think ADHD is a bad thing, but I think in this capitalistic, European centric society, it is, right? Because if I'm able to wake up whenever the hell I feel like waking up and work whenever I feel like working, I would be fine. Well, I have kids, so yeah, that part does need some help too. But I cried so hard. I cried. And then the grief I felt. And then I just thought about like all the business coaches I had, all the teachers I had, my mother, you know, and it just hurt so bad because that younger me at every stage, you know, child, teen, young adult, young mom. Oh my God, I didn't mean to cry. You can tell my cycle's getting ready to start, bro. Um, but anyway, that younger me at every single stage of that life, she needed help so bad. And she thought she was, it, they make ADHD, executive dysfunction and stuff, they make it a character flaw, and it's literally not a character flaw. You know, it kills me when people are like, oh, if you're late, you're disrespecting me. I don't even give a fuck about you. I'm not even thinking about you. I'm disrespecting me because my plan was to be early. It's not about you. That's not even disrespecting you if I don't consider you at all. You know, as far as like how hurt and mad I feel about myself not showing up on time or leaving on time or whatever on time. So, and it just kills me when people are like, you're disrespecting me. Actually, you're a non-factor. How about that? Because I'm mad at me. I'm tearing me down. I don't need you to add to that. You know what I mean? So when I say I went through all the stages, I went through all the stages. And one of the things they don't tell you about it, since we're talking about this, nobody seems to have any questions. But one of the things they don't tell you about ADHD and finding out late stage ADHD, autism, both, you know, I actually ended up having both, plus being gifted, plus being spiritual. Like it's a bunch of shit, right? The thing they don't tell you about, which is one of the worst things ever, which brings me back to this patience thing, is the skill regression. And like I was somebody I lived on adrenaline, like lived on adrenaline, and that's what breaks your body down to do that. But I, you know, I live by deadlines. I could eke out an A paper, the class before it's due. Like I would be in a computer lab typing that shit down and turn it in for class and get an A on it. Because, you know, when you're good, right? So, and that's the other thing is like, because shit came so easy, mostly, it didn't feel like a skill. It didn't feel like a gift. It didn't feel like a talent. It just felt like breathing. And it felt like it's something everybody can do. So, when I lost that drive, because once I found out, you know, girl, you're ADHD, you got to give yourself some grace and space. Once I started practicing grace as I went through the grief, I lost the drive. So it's like, oh, I have something due by the 17th. 17th come and I still don't have it done. I'm like, well, fuck, it's not going to get done. And it's like, girl, that's not how we operate. So that's why I'm saying that patience thing that she said just like really resonated with me. So, yeah. So like, for instance, there's the denial. So again, people, if you even resonate with half of what I said, and you're over here, I don't have ADHD. Let me tell you, if you're resonating with half of what I said, not one, not two, but like three, four, five, chances are you do, you know? And like the first time I took an autism assessment, I came up as little to not autistic because I was so good at masking. And then after getting my ADHD medicine and realizing something's still not right, and I took another assessment And it was like, girl, you are moderately to high. I was like, oh, okay, that explains it. Um, if I could just do the things I want to do, then I'll be happy. But that's not how life works. Anyway, so, and that brings me to the spiritual aspect of it, right? So, like with the mediumship class, by the way, that book's on Amazon if you're wondering. The mediumship class, like I said, that was one of the biggest things that I took from it. Patience is a form of trust. And so, if you're a person similar to myself who is like, I don't trust what I'm getting, or I don't trust myself to do something, or I don't believe I have this or I have that, despite the evidence saying otherwise, you know what I mean? I think you're going to need to start trusting yourself more and having patience with yourself.